The following is a Joel Michalec production. The following episode of The Joel Michalec Show takes place between 8 p.m. and 9 p.m.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Joel Michalec Show featuring the lovely Sharon. I am Joel Michalec, and across from me, who was supposedly wide awake when we decided to start the podcast, yawning.
I'm wide awake. I don't know what you're talking about.
So welcome back. We took the week off last week, and hopefully you were able to download that throwback.
Blah, blah, blah.
I didn't call it
Blah,
a
blah,
throwback,
blah, blah.
though. I called it a... I forget what I called it, but we did a little throwback stuff last week for the podcast. Hopefully you were able to subscribe at www.jmtalk.net. How's that for a segue? That's where you go to subscribe to the program. We're on every major podcast player. And if we're not, you let us know. If we're not on your podcast arena, we will get into that arena. So just let us know. www.jmtalk.net. Also on social media, on TikTok and Facebook at JMTalk, Instagram and Twitter at JMTalk Radio. You need to stop because that is contagious.
I know.
She wants some ice.
Well, that'll certainly wake me up.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe the coldness of the ice. Also, drop us an email at joelmichalecradio@gmail.com. So that's the business of the show. Show number 141, if you're keeping track after the throwback episode. We're back from vacation.
I know. I just thought of something.
What?
And I know how vital it is that you do the
business of the show?
Yeah, the business of the show.
Right.
And it's very important. Don't get me wrong. However, I think I was yawning because I was slightly bored. I just want to get on with the show.
Okay. Well, now I'm yawning, and that's because it's contagious. It's interesting because I used to do that after the 2 commercial breaks as well.
Yeah.
And from listeners giving us feedback, they said that they thought once in the beginning, once at the end was good enough.
Yeah.
Leave it out of the middle. And so we did. We did.
It's a wee thing
It's a
now,
wee thing.
baby.
So anyway, we're back from what could probably be, I wish I could trade my vacation in for a new one because, what's the matter?
I'm trying not to yawn.
Oh. I've done that too when I was in meetings, and I'm like, you stifle it, you're like...
And you make all these funny faces.
Yeah, with your mouth shut. So, I think that we can both agree that we'd like to trade the vacation in for another week.
Absolutely.
Like, many things went wrong.
What I think we should do is, because this week sucked so bad, we should take next week and see if it goes even better.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Yeah, right. I know.
So anyway, I was talking to a friend of ours over the weekend, and I was telling her that we had these 3 back-to-back podcasts that seemed to be a 3-part series outlining the pest issues in our new backyard. And there really wasn't anything to report after that. But however, now that we're back from vacation, like the week before we went on vacation,
oh my Lord,
we had this it was like a 20-minute storm.
No,
really.
it was longer than that. It was much longer.
I didn't think it was all that long, but we had this storm blow in out of nowhere. Out of nowhere.
It was a massive storm.
Massive winds and everything.
High winds.
We had to clean the pool out because of the leaves and the branches.
Yeah.
But the next day, after this storm,
was horrific.
Lanternflies, which since they've hit the media and they've come here from Asia, thank you,
I've never seen one. I've never seen one. I didn't know what they were. When I saw it, I'm like, oh my God, I'm used to seeing some crazy insects.
Especially this year. Yeah, especially this year. We've seen a lot of things this year.
I know, right? Okay, picture, if you will. Picture.
I was making a picture.
Okay, you freaked me out.
I was making a frame.
Okay.
A picture.
Rapture Palooza.
Okay.
Okay, you know the movie?
Absolutely. I woke up to it.
Yes, you did. Because I was watching it. Anyway, the little crickets with the people heads.
Yeah.
Okay.
You waiting to see that?
Yes. I think I did once or twice. Okay. It was creepy. And I've never seen a lanternfly. So I was like, oh my God, babe, I came running in to get you.
Yeah, you took a picture and you're like, what is this? I'm
right?
like, oh my God, are you serious?
I'm like,
right away, I knew it was
crawling.
the spotted lanternfly.
Oh my God, look, I'm getting.
Yeah, I see
I'm
the
getting the
goosebumps.
people bumps because it freaks. They skeeved me out.
Right, and you know what? They're harmless like the cicadas, but again, they're just freaky looking. Like I saw pictures and I was like, and a lot of people are like very
it looks
beautiful.
Like it's standing on its hind legs.
Right, and in fact, I think about a year ago, we did a story on the podcast about a lady that was, because you had to kill them, so she was killing them, but then taking their wings and like making jewelry with them.
Ew.
We did a story on this.
Yes, I know, but I said ooh back then, and I'm saying
so a lot
again.
of people think they're beautiful, and I got news for you. A lot of people who are obviously need medication think cicadas are beautiful too.
Ew.
So anyway,
you know what? Before this year, I had never seen a cicada either.
Right, because we figured that we went back in time. You figure 17 years ago we were living down at in the Jersey Shore.
Right.
So probably not a big thing down there.
No,
17 years prior to that, we're living pretty close to urban areas, not so much suburbia like we are now.
For you were, I was in urban area.
And or even if you were in Texas, you know, they're not all over the United States, and they're mostly in the Midwest, upper Midwest, and then Northeast area.
Yeah.
So, but these lanternflies have shown up, and the orders are kill them, and it's not because they're harmful to us at all, but they literally destroy trees, almost worse than almost any other insect.
Right. So when you told me to kill this thing, it went against everything in my nature to do that because I don't kill insects.
But they want you to.
No, I get that.
You're under orders. You're under orders from the Department of Agriculture to kill these.
But it's against my religion.
You are now a soldier of the federal government
to kill these animals.
You're a federal agent now.
These insects.
And we're going to get badges made up that say lanternfly killer.
And then all my like religion friends would be like,
you're against it. You have a trap for flies, a trap for bees, and you have 3 traps out there. What's the third trap? I
forget. Flies, bees, like wasps, bumblebees, stuff like that.
Wood bees, right?
No, and the little one, the little box is wood bees.
But you already caught a wasp, so there's a separate bee trap out there.
Yeah, I know. The little box is for carpenter bees that drill up into your wood.
And then you have another bee trap out there? Where's that at? Because I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's hanging where the one potted plant is.
Does it attract?
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't know that.
For a while, there was only one bee in there, and he was lonely, so he died. But when I looked at it yesterday, there was like a bunch in there. So his friends came to visit him, but he was already dead.
So that makes sense.
So then they died. So because of broken heart, because there was our friend, there was a best friend. They grew up together in a little beehive.
So when our kids asked me the other day why there was a lot of wasps in the backyard, and I didn't readily have an answer because I hadn't seen any, but the attractant must be working.
Must be.
Unfortunately, I haven't seen that many, so I feel like unfortunately it's attracted them from other areas. I just
thought of something.
They weren't always there.
I know.
What?
So what I just thought of was, I'm here just saying it's against my religion to kill these bees.
And you got traps all over the place.
I got traps, but I don't kill them. They get stuck in the traps. Not my fault. I didn't tell them to fly into the trap.
You're an insect hitman.
I am not. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm over this.
So anyway, the real point of this part of the conversation was to say, hey, we had yet another stranger show up in our domain. These flipping lanternflies.
Yeah, and they're just creepy.
Yeah, they're just creepy looking.
They are. They're like stick their chest up and say,
yeah, their legs are weird. The way their legs sit too.
I dare you, kill me. Well, so if you look at it that way, I can never turn down a dare. So I killed him.
This is nuts. Anyway, also talking to our same friend down at the shore, the Delaware shore, she also said that they didn't have cicadas where she's at, which is, now they weren't where our vacation place is either, right by the water, but in the park nearby, little bit of cicada activity. I remember
Cicadas
I mentioned
are ugly because they have orange eyes.
But she did note that her relatives up here, where we're having trouble, said they were really wicked bad. They were wicked bad, buddy. I mean, they were. We were drowning 2 dozen a day in the pool.
At least. Yeah.
Anyway.
It was crazy.
So another creature feature today on show 141.
Yeah, right?
So, but anyway, okay. While we're talking about while we're talking about the insects and where they come from, right? And where they come from, there is this story, and I have to turn my head slightly, but I'll try to stay with my mouth at the microphone. So, there's a lot of. Oh wait, I got to do this because you never know; these ads get in the way. There's a lot of. We only broach these subjects because of how stupid they are. Not that we get into this as a show.
Definitely.
But there's, the race card thing, racism this, racism that, and it's hard. It's hard for us to visualize because we're not these people that there are people out there that really need their ass kicked.
Oh, sure.
Into some reality
Absolutely.
here. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so anyway, but it bleeds over into some of the weirdest things.
Yeah.
Like most recently. In Minnesota State Senator Fong Hall, Hawj. There you go. That's my best pronunciation. I'll just spell it. Never a fan of the Asian carp, labeled because it applied to imported fish species of carp. And there are a lot of species of fish, and I've known this for years, learned it from my father, that are from one place and don't belong in this place. And you're usually ordered by the Fish Commission, the Fish and Game Commission. If you catch it, kill it on sight. Because they want that species to stop. There is a gar, a gator gar, or something like that. It's an alligator garfish. A garfish is like they're pretty tough, but there's one that somehow found its way into the Northeast from southern fresh water, and it's the same thing. If you catch one up here, an alligator gar, you got to kill it. You don't. Unless you're going to eat it, which I don't eat fish. I'm catch and release. So if you're a catch and release and you catch one, that's what I'm saying. There's these, just like the lanternfly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but these are fish.
So there's these Asian carp are evasive. They're from Asia, labeled as such because they don't belong here. Somehow they got over here, and they wreak havoc in the ecosystem here. Like some of the bugs from Asia do. But anyway, so, so he and fellow Senator John Hoffman are getting together, and what they want to do is they want to change the name of the Asian carp to invasive carp. And now, if you would have started with saying invasion, if you would have started with calling it that, one thing, but now all of a sudden
exactly.
they're doing it because the fish is racist. It's a racist name, and we're being racist by calling it.
Okay, so if a person is from Asia, okay,
right,
Asia, and a person is from Texas, okay. You would call the person from Texas a Texan. You would call the person from Asia an Asian. It implies where they're from.
Right. I get it.
Not a racist condemnation on that fish.
But remember,
you're not going to change the name of a Texan. Okay.
Well, they might.
But they're not going to change the name of a Texan because they don't like big buckles. big belt buckle. You
Right.
know what I mean?
I get it.
So it's just ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
Very much so.
You know, it's to me, it's not racist. This is where you get outside the real issue with racism.
Yes.
And you just go, oh, racist, racist, racist.
You
Because-
throw the word racist on a particular subject
Right.
or item because you don't like it. That's ridiculous.
And then you set a really strange precedent going forward, because
Yes.
when will we start seeing Mexican style cheese being changed? We buy that a lot. We may not be
Yes.
able to buy that anymore.
Right.
You know, we might have to call it, I don't know, south of the border cheese. I don't know what, but
Right, yeah,
you know,
but that's
one example. And I was trying to think of
Absolutely.
some other examples. I meant to take some notes because I know if we think about it,
Right.
we could come up with other things
Yes.
that fit this picture. Okay, this
Yeah.
can't be the Asian carp anymore. Well, then this can't be Mexican cheese. This can't be a Brazilian steakhouse. That's very racist. You
or
got to get rid of
cannot
that.
get a Brazilian.
You can't get a Brazilian, right? So that's what I'm saying.
Right.
You
and
set
I
a
agree
precedent
with
that's
you
very, very tense.
135,000%.
And you open up a can of worms.
Yes. You know what I want to open up, though?
What?
That slot machine sitting right there. I'm sitting over here eyeing it up, looking at you.
We'll have to
eyeing
put
it up.
together all the quarters that's required and give it a shot. but we should first make sure we have a key to get into it.
Oh, yeah, right.
do it.
Duh.
So anyway, so the Asian Carp Regional Coordinating Committee, yes, that's a very long name, representing agencies in the U.S. and Canada are trying to contain the carp, so because of it doesn't belong here, etc. But in the meantime, they say that naming the invasive carp may not be the final say. You know, and what's going to happen is now it's too generic of a name, and what happens if you get down the line where
and you see other carps
right, which
that belong here.
or are just again like that alligator gar are just in the wrong state, you know, or wrong region of the United States. So we're looking at this for its silliness, because it is silly, and it's a waste of time.
It's ridiculous.
It is a waste of time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So calling the fish alligator gar, I mean, using the same token, we're being, you know, very offensive to alligators. Why name that fish an alligator gar? Alligators may not like that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So now you got to change the name of the alligator gar.
Yeah.
However, crocodiles may not like alligators, so you got to change the name of the alligator, because the crocodile, it just snowballs into something totally ridiculous. And that's my final say.
Okay. That's your final say. No. You just said it was your final say. You can't come back with anything else.
That's a perfect
Go ahead.
thing for a segment for me. And that's my final say.
That's your final say. All right, final say.
All
That's your
right.
final say.
All right. That's what I'm going to do. Yeah.
Okay, so when we come back from this break, okay, because we are at the core a entertainment show.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
when we come back from this break, I got a surprise for you. We're going to talk Big Brother, but maybe not the way you think. But we're going to talk about some Big Brothers. So Big Brother fans, stay tuned. Later on in the final segment, we'll be switching from our Big Brother fans, and I'm going to be looking for my gaming fans. So coming up later on.
What?
Yeah. So anyway, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back,
Gaming.
Big Brother stuff after this.
This is New York's super oldie station, 920 WON, The Apple, Brooklyn, New York.
So I use my computer every day. I'm not even sure how I get along without it. But I wasn't prepared for a virus. A Trojan, they called it. One night I'm cruising along, and the next night I can't do anything. I was afraid it was going to cost me a fortune. Boy, was I surprised. They had me back up and running the same day I called them. I really like PC Tech Rescue, and you know what? My wallet likes them too.
Are you troubled by computer problems? PC Tech Rescue should be your very next call. Whether the problem is viruses, hardware, software, or any other issue, they can diagnose your problem and have you back up and running fast. With more than 25 years of industry experience, you can be sure you are getting dependable and affordable service. Call today, 484-429-6061, or email us at pctechrescue@gmail.com.
Welcome back to the show. Oh, I turned the speaker monitors off in the studio. Welcome back to the Joel Michalec Show, featuring the lovely Sharon. Thanks for hanging out with us through that quick commercial break, and welcome back.
Welcome back.
How's the weather outside?
Very nice.
Okay, so we're going to do something different because we can. We can do anything we want, actually.
Yeah, we can.
Until somebody else tells me how it's going to be, we're going to make the decisions around here. So anyway,
Yeah, right.
I thought that since Big Brother just launched about a week or so ago,
Yep.
in its 23rd season, that we would...
Nope. Yes.
Yeah, Big BB 23.
Yes.
We would talk some Big
But
Brother.
it's only in its 21st year.
Right. Well, that's because 2 years they had off-season extras. Like they had the
No.
summer one and then they had a celebrity one.
No. 2 years.
Or a winter one.
They did. 1 year they did a Valentine's Day one. And then the summer one. And then they did a celebrity one, but it was done in the off season, as you said.
We didn't watch it. We watched like the first episode. And,
No, this was early on.
Oh.
Yeah, this
Recently
was
they did a celeb one with, not celeb one, but like the stars of the show.
Season
coming
9
back.
was the Valentine's Day one. Just FYI, in case anybody wants to know.
Well, we didn't watch the one where they brought the stars of the show back. We watched like one episode because we were just like, well,
That was last year, yeah.
it just didn't appeal to us. It's like, okay,
Right.
we've seen these people, and some of them multiple times because some people they just keep bringing back, and like
Yeah,
mid-season they'll be like,
the
oh, there's a
crazy
surprise,
part-
ding dong, ding dong. There's a surprise at the door.
Yeah.
Oh, look, it's the guy who was on 5 other seasons, for God's sakes. Come
Right,
on in.
but and most of the ones from last year won $500,000.
Right, and they're back on
Yeah.
a bring them back episode.
Yeah.
How about bring back people that didn't make it to the final 2 or the final 4?
Yeah,
You know, how
there
about-
were a couple of them.
All right.
There were.
So I wanted to do something different, and this stems from what we're doing. Anyway, so we have gone back, by your suggestion, to go back and look at some old stuff. And let me tell you something, for the Big Brother fans out there, this is a little my personal advice because of this. If you're new to Big Brother and you have not seen older episodes, it would be interesting for you to get yourself a subscription to either Paramount or CBS or whatever your pleasure,
Right.
to watch the older seasons, because it's interesting to see the evolution of the program after all these seasons.
Yes.
That's one of the things that I find interesting. Not only the evolution of the house itself, but the evolution of the game and the evolution of what they presented to you on television.
Exactly.
You know, because when I watch, like, it's very candid. We're watching season 2.
Right.
It's very candid what they were showing, because these are the aired episodes.
Right.
Very candid conversations, you know, very interesting. Here's how I would compare it, actually. Okay. I just figured this out in my head.
Okay.
I would compare the aired episodes we're watching from season 2 right now almost to when I started watching Big Brother After Dark, which was years before ever watching Big Brother, because I was like, this is interesting. This is even before you were watching Big Brother. It would come on at midnight. You're already asleep. I couldn't sleep. I was always up really late, and it was on like Cinemax, and I'm like, and it was like, oh my God, these guys are all cursing in the house, and what's going on here? So weird. But now that I think about it, that compares to, so it's interesting to see the evolution of the show.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with that. However, the look on my face is because you've never told me that you watched.
It was like back in 2005, 6, 7.
Yeah, but you never told me that.
So what?
What? I mean, when I was turned on to Big Brother, I had to binge watch, and in 2 weeks, I managed to watch. This is how much I was binge watching. In 2 weeks, I managed to get from season 1 to season 16, which is when I started watching it faithfully,
In 2 weeks.
in 2 weeks.
Get alive.
And that, oh my gosh. Yeah. So when I was able to do that, Then I was like hooked, obviously, and had to watch, like, we would plan our days and, what we did each day around Big Brother. We still do that.
Yeah.
Although, like, to this, we can always watch, we record it. We do record anything Big Brother.
Right.
In our DVR, we have it set up. If you see the word Big Brother show up, it's going to record.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's After Dark. That's not that they have After Dark anymore.
Yeah, they just
don't.
stopped that, right?
Yeah. Actually, they stopped that, 2 seasons ago? 3 seasons ago, maybe?
Actually, no. The way I read people complaining on the internet, it just stopped. Because and now, in fact, like, stopped altogether.
You're right, because they used to have the owl.
Right, and
After
so
Dark,
now,
right? Yeah.
They're and they've basically done what, and I've complained about this on the program before. Streaming services find ways to force you into buying multiple streaming services, and now they found a way to force Big Brother mega fans. They will buy that Paramount Plus subscription.
Because
you
it's
just
the
did.
only place. No, I didn't just did. I did that years ago. Okay, that's number one. Number two, that's, you only go to Paramount if you want to watch the live feeds. Now, I just thought of this when we were talking earlier. We were watching, it was pausing, and we were getting frustrated. And you're absolutely right. We could watch the past seasons on CBS without those issues.
Right.
The only thing is, with CBS, you have to watch their commercials.
Right.
So
Paramount, you don't.
Paramount, you don't.
Right.
So, it's a catch-22. Commercials, pause. Commercials, pause. So, it really depends.
So something happened in season 2, which we're currently watching, which stemmed this conversation today on the show. And it's about Justin.
Yes.
And he was kicked out for making all kinds of, threats against people.
Let's, Justin... All right, there's ground rules in this house, okay? First of all, if you're new to Big Brother, you're just hearing this for the first time about this show.
All the rules,
I'm not. I'm just going to go over the one important rule, and that is you can't harm anyone. You can't threaten anyone. You can't fight with anyone.
You have to be a good person.
Yeah, right, yeah, exactly. So Justin was kicked off the show, which isn't the first time. Well, it was the very first time, but wasn't the last time that someone was kicked off the show. Okay.
You go ahead and explain real quickly the Justin situation that got him thrown off.
Okay.
Okay, so then I can move into why are we actually discussing all this.
Okay, so it started out with Justin jumping in, Kent jumping into Justin's face. Okay, about stealing his pillow. So, because it was Kent's personal pillow from home.
Well, you can sum that up by saying it started out with Justin was talking about punching almost everybody.
Yeah, he
Black
was.
eyes, punching him in the kidneys.
I'm going to hit this girl in the stomach so hard, kidney punch, bend her over and take her and punch her from the back.
And people were getting frightened.
Yeah, they were. The whole house was getting frightened. So they warned him. They gave him a very stern warning. It happens again, you're off the show. Okay? So, I know. So, I thought you were looking like, I'm getting a little long.
No.
So.
I wouldn't do that to you.
Yeah, you would. Anyway, so, it was the next night, I believe, that one of the girls that he was a little fancy on was intoxicated, and she was laying across the counter on her belly, and he picked up one of those sweepers, those old-fashioned sweepers, and like made a motion like he was going to hit her in the head with it.
Right.
Okay, that was the first thing. Then he went into the kitchen and grabbed a knife and said, would you be mad if I killed you?
Right.
And drunkenly she said, no, but my parents would be.
Right.
So, and then he would kiss her, and then he would hold the knife to her throat. And, he pulled her away, kissed her. She's like, go ahead. Well, I don't care, whatever. And all you heard over the, loudspeakers in the house, Justin, please report to the diary room.
Right. So he got evicted for being a moron.
He did get evicted for taking a knife to a girl's throat. I mean, come on.
And during a post-eviction interview, he didn't even see the problem with it. He said it was a joke. And, and
if you see a problem with it, you're an idiot.
Right. So, and it turns out it was a good move by Big Brother. He was the first one ever put out, not the last, but the first one ever put out of the game by the producers. And he was arrested soon after that for charges because he assaulted his girlfriend. So probably a wise decision on the part of the producers, to take this as seriously as they did.
Yeah.
So then this prompted for me, though, is what if we looked at other people, what happened when they got thrown out of the house and how'd they turn out?
Or after the show, how did they turn out?
Right. So... so then that brought me to Justin Seebeck. Now, I have not seen all the seasons, so you probably are more familiar with these names than I am. But then there was Justin Seebeck, who won season... No, I'm sorry. That was Justin Seebeck.
Justin Seebeck.
Adam Janiski, who won season 9? Yes, he won season 9, $500,000, invested the entire amount in drugs and drug dealing, and ended up serving 4 years in prison, federal prison, for drug trafficking.
Oh, my God. Can you be a moron?
Yeah.
And he doesn't look like the type that would do that. Like, he looks like a straight-laced business type guy.
Is that the way he came across on the show?
No, I don't think so. But, yeah.
So that's what happened to him. Let's see. He then went into recovery.
Okay.
So after that, and he said that it saved his life. Recovery saved his life.
Well, that's good.
So now he's an author, and he's writing books.
Okay.
Aaron Grease, season 15. I feel like I've seen some of 15, but I don't remember Aaron Grease.
Yeah,
apparently, she was evicted to a booing audience because she was making racist and offensive remarks about blacks, Asians, and the LGBT community.
That's the season, and she's the reason that Big Brother now has a disclaimer. Before you see anything Big Brother, there's a disclaimer. They're not responsible for what the house guests talk about. There was never that disclaimer before this season.
Well, apparently she was evicted. She came out. Audience was booing her like crazy.
Yeah.
She wouldn't take responsibility for anything that she said in there, even though she was saying sorry, but not really meaning it.
Right.
And when she went home, she lost her job. And she was dropped from her modeling agency. So these things have consequences.
Yeah, I remember that.
Being a bad person has consequences.
Absolutely.
It goes back to, look, in me, you're either a good person or a bad person. That's in my eyes. Yeah. And it has consequences when you do these things.
Yeah, especially on national TV, people.
Right? So now she's a mama, too. And she blogs, I think. Yeah, she's a lifestyle mommy blogger. Successful.
Wow. And expressed regret for her behavior.
Yeah.
Sorry, little too late.
I write blogs. How come I'm not a successful blogger? Anyway, Chima Simone. Okay. During season 11, she had a mini meltdown, refused to follow the house's rules, and then she tossed her microphone pack into the jacuzzi and was thrown out by producers. She was also the Fox Reality Awards awarded her the best villain on TV, on reality TV. Yeah.
No.
So anyway, now she's 35 years old. Actually, this is a little old. So she's about 37, 38, happily married, and has a child. Yeah.
Wow.
She seems to have left her drama behind her.
I remember Willie.
Check the time clock. Okay, we got.
Oh my God, I remember Willie.
Okay, so hey, Willie Hands. Apparently, season 14, which I don't think I saw season 14, kicked out after assaulting a fellow house guest. Here we go again.
Yeah, no, he physically assaulted him.
His notoriety, it says, controversy was eclipsed by the fact that he was also the younger brother of Survivor villain Russell Hands and the uncle of Survivor contestant Brandon Hands. A few short weeks after being kicked out, he was arrested on suspicion of drinking and driving. drunk driving. So that's pretty bad when your brother.
Yeah, his brother, they're a survivor.
Yeah, younger brother on another reality show by CBS.
Right.
And your brother's a villain over there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's, so I guess, how do they say it? The apple does not fall far from the tree.
Absolutely not in this case.
So now Willie is keeping a low profile since his time on the show. According to his Facebook, he seems to be a chilled out sports fan and he hasn't had any run-ins with the law since 2012.
Wow.
So... Joshua Welch, season 9, wasn't very well liked among viewers thanks to his many rude rants and intensive remarks to house guest Amanda Hansen. As he tried to go down as the most famous villain, he was unceremonious. Oh, he was voted out, so he wasn't kicked out. I thought we were doing kicked out, but he was unceremoniously evicted.
Yes. I say it all. Bleep out.
Right. So now he's matured and a senior property manager for NAI Partners. I know that company. That's a national property management company. Look at that, huh?
Wow.
So anyway, it's interesting, for me at least, to have stumbled upon these.
Yeah.
And I did it because I'm like, wow, we're watching it, and I'm always online researching things that we're watching. Yeah. And then it led me to that, and I'm like, this would make a really good topic in the entertainment world of our entertainment podcast.
Oh, absolutely.
And to talk about, some of the things. Now, I thought, wasn't somebody... This is an old article, because didn't somebody get evicted in a more recent season?
Plenty of people got evicted.
This article was written at the end of the 20th. Not evicted, I mean expelled.
Yes.
Wasn't there a girl or something just a couple seasons ago?
Let me think.
I just felt like, because this was written, it says now that it's finished its 20th season. So this article's a little old, and I feel like there was a girl or something in the same season as that meatball that was running around calling people meatball and slamming pots and pans.
Yeah.
I thought there was a girl in there who had a meltdown or a violent meltdown or something. They called her into
there might have been.
So
there might have been. I have no devices in front of me.
It's making me more and more.
I cannot look this up.
It's making me more and more excited to watch more seasons of this.
Right?
But anyway, so Big Brother in its 23rd year. Who knows if it'll continue? It seems like the last couple of years we last minute find out that it was renewed, so it almost feels like they're maybe starting to pull away from it. Great concept, though. Great concept.
I hope not, because it's been on for 21 years.
Yeah.
And that's a long time in television world.
Yeah, ask the Simpsons.
That's a very long time.
Yeah.
And I think and I hope that, it's going to continue for another 21 years.
Wow. All right. So that's that. If you're a Big Brother fan currently and haven't watched older seasons, go back and watch them. They're really interesting.
Yeah, it's so cool to see how it was then and the things that I miss now that they used to do.
And so anyway, so this is the part of the show where you have to say goodbye, Sharon.
Goodbye, Sharon.
All right, so you're taking off, and I will come back with the final stretch of the show coming up after this brief memento.
America, your children have an amazing superpower. That's right. They can help save lives by simply washing their hands. Just 20 seconds of thorough hand washing after they've coughed or sneezed or been outside can help fight against the dastardly spread of germs. Armed with only soap and water and hands, your superhero can protect you, your family, and everyone out there in America land. Amazing! Find out more at coronavirus.gov. A message from the CDC and the Ad Council.
Listen on the web, your phone, or your neighbor's internet connection.
That wasn't very nice.
This is Reality One.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Joel Michalec Show, featuring the lovely Sharon, who has left the building. Left the studio. She's still in the building. But so that leaves you and me. Welcome back to the program. Thanks for sticking around. And in this segment, I just thought of this. We didn't even cover the Wombat of the Week this week. Oh my, and we may not. If I have time, I'll do it. I do have some other things on the docket that I want to talk about, and they actually take this entire segment. So let's see what happens, right? Because that's also what this is all about. There's really no structure. As we said earlier, we'd like to primarily think of ourselves as an entertainment podcast, but realistically, until somebody's paying me the big dough and telling us how to do things, it's still a format, very open format in what we want to do, and we like to keep it entertaining as much as possible, which is why we stay away from other things, subject matter and such. Oh, make sure my microphone doesn't fall over. But anyway, so welcome back to the program. And the first thing as I mentioned earlier, I was saying, where are the gamers at? And what amazes me is how big the gaming community has gotten. Since I started playing games, I actually started playing games on the Atari 2600, the very first Atari system. So I played on the 2600. Oddly enough, I never played on the 5200. But I played on the 2600. Yes, that was with the paddles and the joysticks and the two dots. Boop, boop, beep, boop, beep. You know, the tanks. I played on ColecoVision. I played on Sega Genesis, the original Nintendo system. I have some really favorite games. Some games that are very favorites of mine on the Nintendo, the original NES. And I never played the Super NES, and there are places where you can go online and for free you can actually download emulators for Windows 10 that will play, and even some of the emulators you can get will have every title ever made by NES included in the emulator. So you're on Windows 10 and you can put an emulator on, which is basically a piece of software that allows you to play these games in a window. A window to the past. So anyway, gaming's really changed and it's gotten so much larger to the point where you have a lot of people streaming. Few of them become successful streaming. Many of them do it for fun. Some, it doesn't work out at all. But, women have become really big in gaming, and that, I'm not stereotyping because we don't do that. But the truth of the matter is there's more women gaming now than there has ever been. And especially, in, say, the NES days, Sega Genesis days, it was typically, males that played the video games. Girls were doing other things. Boys were playing video games. So a lot of that's changed. But anyway, what I wanted to mention today is a piece of news from the gaming world that I thought would interest my gamer audience. And that is that this coming week, Battlefield 1 may be available for free. Okay? So, and this is according to Game Insider Tom Henderson. Now, Tom Henderson, you may know if you read his blogs, he accurately leaked information regarding Battlefield 2042. And so when Tom Henderson says it's going to happen, people listen. In fact, we captured the story not from his blog. I captured the story from Business Times, internetbusinesstimes.com. So, it's out there, and he's become such a reliable source when it comes to information about the gaming community that other publications will pick up on this stuff and run with it. Now, if you had never played Battlefield 1, I have it. I have it for my Xbox, and my Xbox is actually still packed away from the move, and I haven't been able to play it. I used to have it hooked up in the studio so I could either play PC games or switch to the Xbox. And it came with the Xbox. It was like already on there and included. So that's Xbox's version. We're talking about the PC version maybe being free. And I'm hoping it is because I really do like Battlefield 1. One of the things I like about it, and for people that know me and my extensive knowledge and yearning to learn more of history, one of the things that I am very vocal about is the fact that with the amount of changes that this world went through because of World War I am very vocal of the point that World War I is not taught enough in our school systems. It caused such paradigm shifts in the everything, the geopolitical system, the social system, everything. And also World War One has been. I'm a first-person shooter guy, so I like war games. And World War One has always been a difficult game to tackle as far as a game, because think about it. There wasn't a lot of action in World War One. You sat in trenches for months on end, and if you had this battlefield between your two trenches, you would spend months gaining and losing inches of that field. And it's hard to articulate that in a game, in a first-person shooter game. Or maybe actually any game when you think about it, but definitely a first-person shooter. And there have been some attempts, which have not gone on very well, of game developers making games based on World War One. And Battlefield 1 was it, and it is it. And the PC version is still very popular and still played by a lot of people. Because and part of it is because of the design, right? So, it's one of those. It's just one of those games. It's praised. The whole community it praises it because it's extremely immersive in the environment. Audio design and graphic design is crazy awesome. Gunplay, is crazy, and it has an anthology-style single-player campaign. Okay, that tells the stories of just ordinary soldiers in realistic and humanized portrayals of that time period. And it also, the arsenal, the weapons, the era-accurate weaponry of Battlefield 1 is also another kudos to the developers of this game. From the bolt-action rifles, to the experimental SMGs. At the time, they were starting to get into making these smaller, small machine guns, and they didn't always work right. And I mean, the accuracy that they went through to make sure, that even the problems with some of these newer weapons they were trying to come out with at that time period, having those same issues to the game, it makes it so ultra realistic. I mean, I've played it, and if I remember correctly, they have a team deathmatch type thing environment, like some of your first-person shooters are, especially Call of Duty, right? And if I remember correctly, I did not like the TDM because it's difficult. It's very difficult because if you're used to playing team deathmatch in Call of Duty, where really there's very little accuracy in Call of Duty as far as weapons and situations. And we can get into that in another game. And maybe I'll have my son-in-law, who's a gamer, on with me for a third segment in an upcoming show. We will talk about exactly what I'm talking about here. But you go from that to then playing this incredibly accurate game in team deathmatch mode, and it's hard to do because you don't have the speed and the accuracy with these weapons. And so you have to, it's just more difficult. So that's about the game, and that's why it's so popular, and it's still popular today. Okay, so so a little bit about Tom Henderson. If you don't know, you should really check out his Twitter and his blog. He's an industry insider in the gaming world. He's got a reliable track record of for games and series leaks. So he gave the heads up about the Battlefield 1 becoming available for free. And he did so in a tweet, which I think I have here. So I'm going to real quick text it. He says, if you're looking to buy, here's the tweet. If you're looking to buy Battlefield 1, don't. It will be free to download next week. And it's these little nuggets like that on his Twitter feed that gets people riled up and going, because as simple as that sounds, people know Tom Henderson to know his stuff. So he did not mention which platform it's going to be on, but it's widely assumed that it's going to be on Steam or Origin. And that's what I'm hoping for, because that means we're talking about the PC version. Obviously, you're not going to get... I can see you giving away an Xbox game, but we really feel like it's going to be the PC version. And I have almost completely moved away from any consoles strictly to PC. You can make a PC to outperform any console, especially when it comes to graphics. And so you have a better gaming experience. So this is what I wanted my people to know. If you're a gaming person and you like first-person shooter and you like the war games, and bonus, if you like accuracy. Because Battlefield 1 remains to this day to be one of the most accurate portrayals of a historical period of time and war. And not only any developer can make beautiful landscapes. I mean, me and my son-in-law, we play Enlisted now. We just got into that. And it's a free World War II, but it's a massive map. It's not like Team Deathmatch. There is no Team Deathmatch. It's all massive maps, and there's only a couple of maps at this point. Why? Because the developers take their time, and the landscapes, the accuracy, and the beauty of looking back in time and the detail that they gave to these landscapes. But you're engaged in these battles, so it's different even from campaign style in Call of Duty. You know what I mean? Way different. And it's very reminiscent to me of the old Medal of Honor series, if you can remember them. The Medal of Honor that was on, let's see, when did I first play? GameCube was the first place. I had almost every Medal of Honor for the GameCube. Tell me how old you are without telling me how old you are. Sorry, 2600. Need I say more? So if you've never checked out Battlefield 1, I mean, I know it's only $40 on Steam or Origin, but right now I'm sitting firm and I'm hoping and praying that Tom Henderson is leading us down the right path, as he has always done. It's something that we can pretty much count on, and it's almost like, if you're old enough to remember the old E.F. Hutton commercials, when E.F. Hutton speaks, people listen. Because when Tom Henderson speaks, the gaming community listens. They stop and they listen. Because very rarely is he incorrect with his little nuggets of information. So, gamers, Battlefield 1, possibly this coming week, offered for free. And it could be a market employee. It won't be the first time. It will not be the first time, because I missed out on it, but just last month, Battlefield 4 was given away as a free game for Amazon Prime subscribers last month, and I can't even believe I missed out on that. I would have liked to have checked it out. I mean, Battlefield 1, I think, is really the best Battlefield. But to have another first-person shooter game, and I missed out on a free opportunity because, we've been kind of busy, and I haven't been paying attention as well as I could have been. So I have to pay closer attention. But anyway, so the other thing I wanted to talk about, that's about that. So I don't think we're going to get the Wombat of the Week, because I ran into an interesting story about shopping carts. And the reason I found this interesting and want to talk about it is the fact that there's been a lot of TikToks and a lot of videos and a lot of tweets about people who don't return their carts to the shopping cart areas provided for you in parking lots of shopping markets. And some of these people are downright rude about it. I mean, there are reasons why people don't return the carts. And though I get it, right? Again, we all want to be good people. But what I found strange about it, like for the last couple of weeks, I've actually been getting internally angry at watching some of these TikTok people, especially one of them said something about, "You fat, lazy, diabetic bastards." I'm not lazy, but I am a fat diabetic. So I did take it a little personally. But so then I saw this Scientific American taking a look at a little bit of the science behind it, right? Of why people don't return the shopping carts. Okay. A lot of supermarkets have tried to make it a relatively easy task. They have the cart receptacles throughout the parking lot. There's a cart attendant to bring the carts back to the store. And some, like Aldi, for example, relies on the rental system. You need to pop a quarter in to get your cart, and to get your quarter back, you need to go and reconnect the cart and you get your quarter back. So, and really, if you look at any Aldi, there's no carts anywhere around the parking lot. So that does work. Okay. So there's some reasons. And some of the reasons that they gathered is the receptacle is too far from where they parked their car. They have a child that they don't want to leave unattended. The weather's bad. It's raining. They have a disability, and it's very prohibitive to easy movement. There's also people that just feel like, hey, you have somebody that comes out and collects them. Well, my perception is that that's their job to get the carts. Okay? And of course, a lot of times if we are unloading our car and then as we get done and someone's approaching, I will always say, do you need a cart? Because that way you don't have to fish one out of anywhere. Here's one ready to go. And I'll even tell them the condition of, hey, you need a cart, the wheels work great. Because don't you feel like you go to the supermarket sometime and you think to yourself, somebody needs to do some tire rotations and maintenance on all these carts, right? So there's also a lot of people that think, well, I'm going to leave them here and somebody else will be able to come by and easily get it. So then they broke down 5 categories of cart users. So they said, 1, you have the returners, people who always return their carts no matter what. Never returners, people who always leave their carts. Convenience returners, people who return their carts if they're parked close enough or if they see an attendant that they can take it to. Pressure returners, people who will return their carts only if the cart attendant is present or if the adjacent car's owner is present, which means they don't have an easy avenue for abandoning their carts. And the child-driven returners, the people who have with children who view it as a game to return carts, often riding them back to the receptacle or pushing them into the stacked lanes. So, these are like the social norms. This is what they broke it down to. So, and they've done studies. I'm going to post this article on Facebook and Twitter. They've done studies on shopping cart returns or shopping cart returners or lack thereof. Can you believe that? They've done studies. And so I'm going to post the article, and feel free to leave feedback. I mean, what kind of social cart person are you? I found this article to be interesting, and it came up at an interesting time. So remember, when you're doing TikToks, though, okay, again, good people, bad people. To get that blatant because people don't return carts and make assumptions, I mean, it's not right. Am I right? Karma is a bitch, is the old saying. You know what I mean? And I think karma sits around waiting for these bad people. So be careful what you say and who you're stereotyping just because you saw a cart in the parking lot. You don't know the circumstances, but they've done scientific studies, so there is some sort of scientific reasoning for almost every situation. So I'll post the article, comment on it if you like. Maybe we'll do a poll based on these answers. I mean, what kind of cart person are you? I don't know. I'm not going to use it to be judgmental. I think of it as the Joel Michalec Show featuring the lovely Sharon doing our own scientific experiment. Anyway, that will bring us right up to the end of the program. So we unfortunately did not get the Wombat of the Week. So maybe we'll do a double on the next program. How about that? That would be a really good turnaround. So I want to thank everybody for listening to the program. I'm asking you to be a good person. Look around you. Look at yourself. Be a better person. If you're not, if you're a good person, remain being a good person. We love good people. Take care of each other. Hold a door open for somebody. And we're going to catch you next time on the show. Remember, subscribe at www.jmtalk.net. Bye-bye, everybody.